Lobsterbacks. On Friday, September 30th, 1768, Paul Revere wrote, the ships of war arrived. The soldiers landed on Long Wharf. They formed and marched with insolent parade, drums beating, fifes playing, up King Street. The sun shone on their brightly polished boots and shining muskets. The redcoats were an impressive sight. But it wasn't at all comfortable to be a British soldier. Their red wool jackets were hot and itchy. Their white pants were so tight that they had to be put on wet. Then, as they dried, they got even tighter and pinched cruelly. A redcoat had to pass inspection each morning. Washing wasn't necessary, but he had to shave. He had to clean and polish his boots, buttons, and buckles. Then, he braided his hair in a long pigtail, powdered it with white flour, and dipped the end in animal grease. He smelled awful. Soldiering was a terrible life. Redcoats were paid only about 8 pence, equal to 2 cents a day. If they didn't keep their uniforms clean, they were whipped. A soldier who tried to desert was likely to be executed. Sometimes he had to stand next to his coffin while the firing squad took aim at him. And if he escaped, Indians might be sent after him with orders to bring back his scalp. Life in the British Army was difficult, and redcoats were certainly not welcomed in Boston. Girls turned up their noses, men sneered, and little boys ran after groups of red-jacketed soldiers screaming, "Lobsterbacks! Bloody backs! Go home!" Let's look at these insets here, starting from here. Look at this. The uniform wasn't the only discomfort a redcoat endured. He had to carry all his belongings into battle with him. Besides his musket balls, and bayonet, he carried a knapsack stuffed with food, blankets, and camping gear. It was a heavy load. Look over here. Sometimes a married redcoat was allowed to bring his wife and children along. They were given a small amount of food. In return, the women cooked, washed, and nursed sick and wounded men. Whenever the redcoats moved to a new camp, their families went with them. Little children were often present when bloody battles took place. Yikes. Look at this. A cat o' nine tails was a whip made of 9 knotted ropes or leather thongs fastened to a handle. Soldiers were punished by being whipped on their bare backs. Look at that. You can see all the lashes against his back. And over here, redcoats received very low pay. To earn extra money, some hired themselves out to farmers and storekeepers in their free hours.